Dr. Eells, welcome to the NexGen Patriots podcast. It's an honor to have you here as we have this special series celebrating 250 years of America. And from us, thank you for your many years of commitment and sacrifice to our community. And we greatly appreciate having you today.
Well, thank you.
Yes,
I'm honored.
Yes. So before we kind of get down into this episode a little bit, outside of your job, what are some of your hobbies and interests, things you like to do outside of being a doctor?
I have no hobbies and I have no interests. No, I always talk to my boss, and I've always told him I don't play golf. I don't have any, things that I like to do outside of medicine. I enjoy what I do, and so I don't see myself retiring anytime soon, because I don't know what I would do with myself.
Yeah.
It's you spend a lot of time learning this art, science, business, whatever you want to call it, and then when you're doing it, it becomes you become part of it. It's every day I come, I see patients, we make judgments, we learn new things, and then you go home and you think about it, and you're always. If anyone thinks that you go home and you sleep well at night, forget it. You're always worrying.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
And a patient gets admitted to the hospital, and 3 a.m. you get called.
Yeah.
I hate those calls. They're anxiety producing. But that's what makes this such a business that sort of, you can't put it down. You live it every day, and when you have patients in the hospital, their expectation is to get well. The bar is set very high.
Yeah.
I mean, they got to get well, and I've done it for a number of years. The things that I used to do when I was young, I don't do anymore. And so this is what I do. This is me.
Yeah. So as we as you've already started, kind of give us a little bit of a career breakdown, how you got here in West Virginia, and as you came out of high school, what did life look for you starting then?
Well, first I was born in Los Angeles, and when my brother went to Claremont Men's College, and he was a chemistry major, and he was a year older than me. And when I went off to college, I thought, well, I'll major in chemistry, and I wound up getting my degree from UCLA in chemistry, and I'm still very proud of that degree. That was hard earned, just a very difficult course, but I'm very proud of that. The problem is that when I went out and started working in the field, studying chemistry and doing experiments, that was one thing. But when you go out and you're working in a plastics plant, making resins and polymers, there was a gentleman who was in the plant as well. I remember his name was Ronnie, and he'd been there for many, many years. And I thought to myself, is that going to be me years from now? And I realized that actually working in that field was not something, because we were just in a lab. Mm-hmm. And I thought to myself, this doesn't have enough, in it for me. And it was actually my mother who said, look, you always wanted to be a doctor. Why don't you, apply to medical school? I hadn't applied. In fact, I hadn't even gotten all the prerequisites. because I was in chemistry. So I had to go back and do some prerequisites, and then I applied to medical school, and I got accepted. And I guess I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked, but I got accepted to Stanford University School of Medicine, and I thought, hey, pretty nice. And we were I lived in Palo Alto for 4 years, and then I did my residency in San Francisco for another 5. And when I finished, I'd been, you learn how to do operations. The problem is you don't know if you can do an operation. Sounds simple, but most of the time in residency, when you're in residency, you're holding a retractor, or you're giving exposure, doing something, watching another man do an operation. Hopefully you're learning by watching, but your last year, which is your chief year, they start handing you the knife. And you're and you think you can operate, but you honestly don't know. And I mean, to this day, I remember the first time they said, "Here, Dave, you're going to be the operating surgeon," and most of the operations are done. The instruments are right-handed instruments. Well, I'm a natural left-hander, but I'm trying to learn the operation doing it right-handed. Mm-hmm. So they handed me the knife, and I'm about to make the incision, and I put the knife right in my thumb.
Oh my goodness!
I laugh about it today, but I thought, this is not very sophisticated. Anyway, the doctor's there. He wound up, completing the operation. But I'm just saying that doing operations and watching operations and doing them are two separate things. So when I finished residency, I was offered an opportunity to go someplace and operate immediately. Now, what does that mean? It means that in San Francisco, there's proctologists here, thyroid doctor, there's all sorts of doctors. You can open an office, but who's going to send you patients? See? And they used to tell me that it would take 7 years before people would be referring patients to you. And a company said, look, we have a place that needs surgeons. Would you like to go someplace and start operating immediately? And so I said, well, that sounds interesting. So they sent me various places, and the last place they sent me was Oak Hill Hospital in Oak Hill. I think it's now Plateau Medical Center, but at that time it was Oak Hill, and I met the anesthesiologist there, Dr. Lute, a wonderful doctor. And so I elected to come there, and as a matter of fact, that's exactly what started happening. We started operating, and I was fulfilling sort of my wish to hear the word learn to operate. You don't know how to do it until you've done it. Don't even think it. And when people go to medical school, surgeons, when you're in training with other surgeons, it's you're fighting to do a case. Mm-hmm. You want to do an operation. You're more or less trying to convince yourself that you can do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, after years, and I mean years, you finally got the confidence that, if something walked through the door and they needed something, that you could do it. And it takes a long time.
Yeah.
And I mean at minimum 10 years. Now, you walk out of residency, you're just, it's not there yet.
Yeah.
And when and there's sort of a anxiety lowering when you know if something walks in there, I know I can handle it.
Yeah.
And that's a good day, but it takes a long time. And when the problem with learning medicine is that that's all you learn. Now it sounds, but that's why you went to medical school. But you're learning medicine, and what they don't teach you is they don't teach you business. And when you go someplace, and the hospital in Oak Hill was supporting me for the first year, but then after that, it was up to me to generate my own income. And what you found is that if you're not a business success, you're not going to be in business.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that aspect that's not taught to you because you're too busy figuring out, should I clamp this? Can I cut this? The things intrinsic to whatever you want to do. And then all of a sudden someone says to you, how are you going to make payroll? How are you going to pay your malpractice insurance? These are things that are out of the blue.
Yeah.
And I found that as a surgeon, I thought I learned how to operate, yes, but I was a poor businessman. And so I started moonlighting in the emergency room to try to keep myself afloat, keep the business open. And that's how I met my present employer here at the hospital in Welch, and I've been here since 1991. And you have to think a minute. If you have an office and you're trying to make payroll and malpractice, every person that walks into your office needs an operation.
Mm-hmm.
You need to operate on them.
Mm-hmm.
See? And when I came to Welch, what I realized is that I don't need to operate on everybody.
Yeah.
In fact, you pick and choose, make a judgment as to what you're going to do. And that's a wonderful thing to be, taken off your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
You're not having to do something for money.
Mm-hmm.
And especially medicine.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of this hospital. If I see something that I feel we can do, we do. If I say no, then we don't try it. And I function and I'm supported, and so it really takes the financial burden off your shoulder.
Yeah.
And that's good. So that's how I wound up here in Welch.
Yeah. So what an amazing journey though, just to where you've gotten here. But as we kind of start this first segment, you've kind of touched on some of these things already, but I want to talk about a little bit with your situation is a little bit more unique, as you work a lot with your wife at the hospital. And so I kind of want to talk a little bit about serving together in medicine, specifically, both of you. But for people who have never stepped inside an operating room, what would surprise them the most about what happens behind the closed doors?
Well, firstly, we operate in prisoners. There's officers sometimes in the room and students. And the answer is that, firstly, I like to have fun when I'm in, so I may joke sometimes. But what's got to be understood is when we're doing an operation, I am dead serious. We are there. Someone has entrusted us with their life. They have given us they have honored us. They've honored us. They've said, I'm willing to let you operate on me. Big burden.
Yeah.
And so this is serious as a heart attack. And I like everyone, sort of focused on what we're doing, so that if we get into problems or we need help, we know what, everyone sort of pitches in, and so I don't mind people joking or laughing or what have you, as long as we are doing what we came to do, and keeping our mind on what we're doing, and to make certain that we make all the right maneuvers.
Yeah.
And I'll ask the nurses. I said, what? I always ask my other nurse, what do you think that is? and I'm always impressed when they give me the right answer, or tell me why are you doing what you're doing now? Because they've thought about the procedure, thought about what's can go wrong, what we're trying to accomplish. I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think a lot of times people, I guess on the human side, looking at somebody that's getting surgery, you can kind of, as a human, just take the seriousness of it away and think of how actually life-threatening it still can be, from the minimal ones to the most serious ones. You
can nick something and all of a sudden the bleeding is bad. You can, for some reason, you can't identify a structure. I will tell you, things have changed dramatically. I mean, when I was trained in open operations, meaning you open somebody up. In today's world, we're doing it laparoscopically, and it requires a different set of skills. And in fact, a lot of doctors who, for the longest period of time, would make incisions, when the laparoscopic operation came around, then all of a sudden they weren't operating anymore. And because it involves you watching a television camera or a monitor, and doing manipulating instruments on someone here, but you're watching the camera to see what you're doing, and it requires sort of hand-eye coordination, a different set of skills than it would be if you had somebody open, and you just got to be meticulous about things. You can't. In days gone by, I remember people would put a pack on something, say, "Oh, the bleeding will stop. The bleeding will stop." No, when you're doing an operation, you got to know the bleeding stop. You cannot leave the patient and just say, "Well, I'm hoping that things are going to try." You can't do that.
Yeah.
There's got to be you got to go in there and be absolutely certain.
Yeah.
And I hope that when students and other people have come in and watched us operate, that they see that we're very meticulous about that.
Yeah.
I would hope, as I said, I've had 4 major operations, and I've been blessed that the doctors who operate on me, I'm certain they took the care and to make certain it was right. I'm still here today, thank God.
Yeah, yeah. And I kind of want to go into the other side of really healthcare, but healthcare can be emotionally exhausting, as you know. How do you avoid bringing that home every day to its fullest extent?
Okay, well, so the first thing, I try not. I may not show it at home, but certain things just wear on you, but I realize that going home and talking to my wife and crying on her shoulders does not change anything. She has her life, I have mine, and I think we want to enjoy our life. If I carried home all the anxiety that I see in the hospital, I wouldn't be a person that you want to be around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
because I trust me, I can complain and moan and groan about various things, but it's not good. You don't make yourself a person that people want to be around if you let that happen to you. But do you sleep well at night? Forget it. That just doesn't happen.
yeah.
You have to pick. You have to make a judgment. Am I going to be someone who's a pleasure to be around, or when people see you, do they walk the other way? You know?
Yeah.
And I realized, you just gotta leave. It's maybe in you, but you gotta leave it in here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't put it out in front of everyone.
Mm-hmm. You started talking a little bit about patience. Is there a patient or experience that has changed you over the years?
That's it's a very difficult question because, I've had some good experiences and some bad experiences. I will tell you, the good experiences, you celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
The bad experiences never leave you.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those are the ones that, sort of influence how you do the next job. Because you remember what happened that time, and you say, I'm just not going to let that happen again. I wish there was a great experience that I could say, I did this and I'm so happy about it. Can you reproduce that? Well, the problem is that, there's skill, there's luck, and there's a lot of prayer.
Yeah.
And you have anybody who doesn't realize that last statement, they haven't done this business long enough.
Yeah.
I do an operation and I pray. A lot of things that you do, you may follow the steps perfectly. You said, I did everything perfectly. What you don't have control over is the patient. When I'm saying the patient, if you're going to build a house and you build it out of cardboard, it's a cardboard house. You build it out of wood, it's a wood house. A brick, it's brick. And when you do operations, the quality of the tissue that you're working with is dictated by the patient. It's not by you. So there's always an uncertainty about what the outcome is going to be. And what I learned, and it took me years to realize this, is that I could go in there and do a technically good operation, but healing is the miracle.
Yeah.
That's what has to happen. And I can't heal people. I can operate, I can put stitches in some. Can I make it heal? No. This is that's at a higher power than me. And so when you do an operation, the outcome is in a lot of ways out of your hands. That's why I say you want to pray.
Yeah. Do you think that can sometimes get misconstrued from the public eye, necessarily seeing that, it's not just by your skills and what you've been trained to do, but it takes more than that at times?
My God, someone, you have to learn this sort of the hard way and see it and recognize it. I recognize it more today than ever before. And unfortunately, the medical profession, they like to, and all of us to a certain extent, like to put in front of people our successes and the what a difficult road this person had, but ultimately they survived. And you sort of create an impression that you have the power. No, we don't. We do things. Everyone does things sort of by the book. You can watch. You can go to YouTube or Google, and you can watch all sorts of operations. Watch any operation you want. But the healing is that's the miracle. That's in the patient. That's God given. And that's what you're hoping for. If I could make people heal, I would sleep at night. Unfortunately, you put it together and then you pray.
Yeah.
And you hope that everything works out. And I've seen, I can tell you, I've seen miracles. Yes. But I've also seen things that you think, why did this happen? Why? And you realize that a lot of it, not a little time, a lot of it is just out of your control.
Yeah, yeah. And I kind of want to focus more coming back into a small community. You're not just treating patients in a small community, but really, you know their families. How does that change the way you practice medicine?
Well, knowing the family, see, how do you learn the family? Well, you operate on their aunt or their uncle, and first thing you know, they need this or that, and they're coming to you, and so you've generated some confidence in from them. They have some confidence in you, and that they feel that they can trust you. Trust big, very big. And as I said, I've had 4 major operations, and I remember the gentleman who came in and told me they were going to give me open heart surgery, like 2 days. And first time I met the man, ever. We talked for 3 minutes. But during that period of time, I had to ask myself, do I trust you? And by the grace of God, But I also think this was more like brick than cardboard.
Yeah.
and so he did a wonderful operation, and I'm here today. And so a lot of the community, they may trust you from other people that they've known, and so it's I think that's a good aspect of this. Now, that being said, you can talk to a person and they may not trust you, meeting you for the first time. And if they don't trust you, you can't operate on them.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
If something, as I said, if something goes wrong, I told you that I just, do the handiwork, but after that, it's out of my hands. And so if the outcome is solely based on what I did, rather than working into the equation the healing that people need, that's a big burden.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what everybody forgets. But specifically, I want to start talking about you and your wife a little bit. So you met your wife through work and both built a career and a marriage together, really. What advice would you give to the next generation about finding the right partner?
Well, Charlotte is one of the most meticulous persons you'll ever meet. the most honest person you will ever meet, period.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and actually, she's got information that that I don't have. I mean, I learned how to operate, 40 years ago. And when I came to West Virginia, even though I taught surgery, I actually had to learn, on the job how to do operations. That being said, I did not know a lot of medicine. Did not. The majority of the medicine I knew I learned from Welch Emergency, their emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
And today I think I feel very confident with my knowledge of medicine.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlotte went to nurse practitioner school many years later, and so her understanding of a lot of things is different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different set of, different information.
Yeah.
And so we work together, but I know a lot of the surgical, she knows a lot of the medical, and we sort of complement each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to the next generation on finding the right person?
Well, see, Charlotte was my second wife. My first wife was not a. I met her when I was in residency, and she had problems, and unfortunately, she was a very attractive woman, and I, at that time, that sort of supervened my character assessment of people, and so she died very young because she had a drug problem, and I should have, I should have known. We were married 1 month, and her father died of a heroin overdose, and instead of the light going on in my brain, I guess wanted to overlook that, but it ultimately caught up to her, and but then I met Charlotte, and I said, very smart, bright woman.
Yeah. You can tell you guys have a deep connection between each other.
I respect her.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And she always impresses me with things that, because I always ask her questions. I always, I want her to see an X-ray or see a case, and I always tell her that the reason I'm asking you these questions is not to put you on the spot, but to teach you the learning the learning point here. I want to give it to you so that you'll have it.
Yeah.
And she always impresses me how much she knows.
Yeah.
I'm which is good, and then she has. I'm always asking her about medicines and stuff that she has much more expertise on than I do, and so I learn from her as well.
Yeah. Do you think that's something, as far as like a younger generation, do you think that's something that we've lost, is that deep connection that you guys display, not only just in your practices, but just as a marriage, really?
Well, as I said, she's my second wife,
Yeah.
so I wasn't. I didn't have as much, what's the word, discretion the first time around, but it's those bad experiences that stick with you, and make you much more particular, later on in life.
Yeah, yeah. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about the future of healthcare. We've already discussed a little bit of it already, but do you feel artificial intelligence is already becoming a part of healthcare? How do you feel, and where do you see it helping, and where should the human element never disappear with all this?
Well, that's a big question, and it's they've already done some quasi experiments to seeing whether or not AI can ask enough questions and come up with a differential diagnosis that would mirror what an experienced doctor would come up with, and in fact, they do. Mm-hmm. Now, that being said, the relationship between a patient and a doctor has. I think it's important. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It may be someday there'll be a monitor with an artificial intelligent generated person on the other end.
Yeah.
And he and I may be talking, and he'll say, "Well, we're going to put you on this medicine, that medicine." There is some science in medicine. There's a lot of art in medicine. I'm just telling you. And it's that arty aspect that I think they may have a hard time, replacing us with.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. There's already, motions being made to replace doctors with other, people who have had less training. Nurse practitioners, physician assistants, that's in play right now. The interpersonal part of this, how is that going to come about? I don't know. That's a big unknown. But I'll see one day there'll be a picture generated. There'll be a nice, I see it. A doctor in a nice white coat, tie, and we'll talk. And at the end of the day, he'll spit out his diagnosis and his treatment. Mm-hmm. May happen.
Yeah, I can see that happening. Yeah, I believe it. Kind of back to rural healthcare. As in a rural area, we face our unique challenges. What do you feel like needs to happen to ensure communities like ours continue to have access to quality care?
That's such a difficult question, and the reason I say that is that when you're in a rural situation, you're limited by what? Equipment, facilities, expertise. When I first started working here at this hospital, I'd work the emergency room. We'd be there for 24 hours. The shift was 24 hours. During that period of time, you were the only doctor around. All the other doctors I know lived in Bluefield or Princeton. And so you're sitting there and you're trying to figure out, this is a lady with an orthopedic problem. What are you going to do? This is a person with a gynecologic problem. What are you going to do? Now, if you're in a big hospital and you have gynecology department, orthopedics, neurology, what have you, you get on the phone and you say, "Look, I have this patient. Can you come and, give us your impression?" Well, see, we don't have that behind us here, and you as the provider with not a lot of backup, sort of intellectual brain power there. It makes it more difficult. It It sure
Yeah.
does. And it's a little more risky, because someone has got to make a judgment.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, we think after, a number of years, we feel like we make good decision. We feel like when we know we're, going, in deeper water, we know when to call someone and get their opinion. That comes with time. And, but most of the people want to go someplace where there can be, where they got all sorts of help around.
Yeah.
See? And I think that's a big burden, or an obstacle that you have to try to cross in a rural hospital. You got to pick what you're going to take on, what you're going to treat, what you're not. Making that decision is difficult, and the problem is that in today's world, medicine is not standing still.
Mm-hmm.
People are coming up with new strategies, new ways of treating things, and in a small hospital, you honestly can't, keep a pace with what they're doing at bigger hospital. That's not reasonable.
Yeah. Yeah. Looking ahead 20 years, what do you hope healthcare in America looks like?
Boy, I'm here. I'm looking for the next year, and he's asking me for 20 years. If you're, I'll just make a comment. I remember in Oak Hill they have Bridge Day.
Mm-hmm.
See, and they have all these people jumping off the bridge. And I'm telling you, the first year I was there, one guy hit the water and it just cracked him open, period. But the majority of times they're going into the woods here or there, breaking an ankle here, all sorts of little things. As long as you're doing risky things and you're trying to improve on things that can be prevented, see, you're always fighting from behind. I think prevention has got to be, a bigger aspect of things rather than saying, well, I'm gonna learn how to treat the worst complication. I'm gonna learn how to treat it. Why not prevent it in the first place?
Yeah.
We've got to get risky behavior has got to, if they want, if the government wants to pay for it, risky behavior has got to be disencouraged.
Yeah.
Smoking has got to go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Got to go.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as we're encouraging people to do things that carry with it, health risk, it just keeps going on.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone wants to have health care paid for by this and free health care. The problem is that it's abused.
Yeah.
People got to use it. It's sort of like car insurance. You have to have car insurance, but you never want to use it. See, but you give someone health insurance, and they come in by ambulance because of a bad toenail. Yes, we've seen it.
Yeah.
And so there's all sorts of aspects to healthcare. The delivery, who's going to pay for it, access, and all these questions that people come up with. But I think as a society, we have to start preventive things.
Yeah.
This body here, you're given one.
Mm-hmm.
You got to treat it with as much respect as you can.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that's actually a really good way to look at it, because I think, we look for the future, and it's like you said, we look for what's the best next medicine that can cure this, or cancer, or and a lot of it's just in behavior and preventing a lot of things.
I'm in trauma medicine. There's an article in the book that says that accidents don't just happen; they are preventable.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things they say is, when you see someone come in from a major trauma or what have you, got to ask yourself, how did this happen, and then think about it. It's one thing to bring it up to the patient who's ill, but someone's got to ask themselves, is there something that could have prevented this? Because this person you're seeing today, I can guarantee you there's going to be another person tomorrow.
Yeah.
And our society has got to take prevention to a higher level.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying, well, I'm going to learn how to treat the worst possible scenario. We're going to learn how to treat it. It's fine for the individual patient. The cost becomes astronomical,
mm-hmm.
and the perception that you give to the rest of the world is that it doesn't make a difference. What you do, we can bring you back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, bringing people back. The one thing that I've learned from having been a patient is that a lot of things that are done save your life. Yes. You're not the same person as you were before.
Mm-hmm.
You're not.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I ran 6 miles at the YMCA the week before I had open heart surgery. I didn't know. I didn't know I was. I thought my wind was. I was getting older and my wind was leaving me. No, it was trying to tell me something bad was happening. Well, they operated on me and they saved my life. I have not run 6 miles since. Okay, so yes, they did a good job. Am I the same person I was before? No, you're just not.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to try to realize the limitations of these things.
Yeah.
Just my thought.
Yeah, yeah. So as we start to wrap this up, we're celebrating continually this, 250 years of America, which is quite the mark. But as we continue celebrating it, what does this milestone mean to you personally?
Well, most of my family are from Mexico, but I was born here in Los Angeles, and I love America. I do. It's been good to me.
Mm-hmm.
And we live a good life here, and I just respect it so much.
Yeah.
We have so many freedoms, so much opportunity. I'm always amazed when I hear someone, downplaying what we have here in America, especially healthcare. There's no better healthcare in America than here.
Yeah.
Period. And it's not just a question of expertise, but the environment that allows it to flourish.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan. I celebrated. I'm just thankful I was born here in America.
Yeah, yeah. And healthcare workers have served Americans through wars, pandemics, disasters, and everyday life. What role do you think medicine has played in America's story over the last 250 years?
Well, I think it's I will tell you that this is my 40th year in, out in the world doing medicine. The things that I've seen change are astronomical. I would say at least 50-60% of what I was taught in medical school we don't do today. Mm-hmm. It's changed.
Yeah.
And it's changed, and a lot of the things that I thought were written in stone, I realized they're a chalkboard. We're changing, and things are new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking. Our antibiotics, my God, they added. If you Google it, they've added almost 30 years of life expectancy onto people. Yeah.
Wow.
In days gone by, when you would die from, I've never seen a case of rheumatic fever ever. Severe infections, we know how, we have an idea on how to treat them. We're getting better and better with that, and supporting people with their life-threatening illnesses. If you can support them long enough so that their body does the healing, then you make it through. And so it's a wonderful place. Perhaps the downside is that in becoming more and more sophisticated, unfortunately, we've elevated the cost of things.
Yeah.
And so on the one hand, you're happy with this new medicine, and then but the cost is astronomical. You figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. If you could leave one message for the next generation of healthcare professionals, what would it be?
Oh my God. I will tell you, it's a wonderful profession. What's wonderful is when you see someone ill, you give them medicine, they get better. You love that, okay? But then you see people and they don't get better. You hate that, and unfortunately, this is a minefield. It's a minefield. You give someone a medicine, they have a bad reaction. Oh my Lord! You do an operation, they lose their limb or something. I mean, this is a minefield, and so it takes. You have to really get immersed in it, and as I said, I don't know how to do anything else. This is all I do, but I enjoy it. I mean, it's anxiety provoking. But you get addicted to it. It's the best I can say.
Yeah, yeah. And I have one wrap-up question that I ask every person that I interview, because everybody has a different answer. But in your own words, how would you define success?
Oh my God. That's you relish the things that go the right way, and you try to make that happen. You try, this is a business much like gambling. A lot of the times you knew what to do and it worked out good, and then other times you lost.
Yeah.
I think each individual person has got to ask themselves, what did they do with their life, and are they happy? I think every one of us, no matter your doctor, patient, you want to get some enjoyment out of what you do.
Yeah.
And this can be a very satisfying profession, sure can. On the other hand, it can be a very anxiety-producing, devastating situation.
Yeah.
And so you got to respect it and walk humbly. I think when people say, "Oh, this is easy," there's nothing easy, nothing. Everything's got risks, and you as the doctor have got to minimize those risks if you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And as I said, a lot of prayer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Dr. Eells, once again, thank you so much for joining us and taking the time out of your busy schedule. It's been a pleasure having you and joining us on this special 250th series as we honor everyday patriots like you that make up this beautiful country. So we greatly appreciate it and that you taking the time.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And until next time, we will see you guys in the next one.